Hello. Our gospel today comes from the Gospel of St. Mark. On leaving the synagogue, Jesus entered the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John. Simon's mother-in-law lay sick with a fever. They immediately told him about her. He approached, grasped her hand, and helped her up. Then the fever left her, and she waited on them. When it was evening after sunset, they brought to him all who were ill or possessed by demons. The whole town was gathered at the door. He cured many who were sick with various diseases, and he drove out many demons, not permitting them to speak because they knew him. Rising very early before dawn, he left and went off to a deserted place where he prayed. Simon and those who were with him pursued him, and on finding him said, "Everyone is looking for you." He told them, "Let us go on to the nearby villages, that I may preach there also. For this purpose have I come." So he went into their synagogues, preaching and driving out demons throughout the whole of Galilee. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ. Well, as we listen to the words of the Gospel today, we hear at the beginning that Jesus has gone to the house of Simon and Andrew with James and John, and when they're there, we see that Simon's mother-in-law is very sick with a fever. Jesus cures her. This is something that has been happening in Mark's Gospel, certainly something that we're familiar with in the Gospel, that Jesus is this wonder worker, that he performs these miracles, that the sick are healed. Now, something that's interesting here that we may have skipped over, perhaps not given too much attention to the first time we heard this Gospel, is that we hear that after the fever left her, that Simon's mother-in-law gets up and she waits on them. A little detail, but an important one. And I think what this does is this gives us an opportunity to reflect on what is it that you and I do when the Lord acts in our life, when we realize that we have received some blessing, when we find healing in our lives, when we find those things that we are thankful for. What is our response? Do we continue to go about our day? Do we pause and give thanks? Do we start to worry about whatever it is that's next that needs attention in our lives? How is it that we respond when God works in our lives? I think what Simon's mother-in-law shows to us is that one of the appropriate responses to Jesus working in our life is then to get up and then to begin sharing that goodness with others. That an encounter with Jesus Christ calls us to serve and to love one another. So this day, let us give thanks for the ways in which the Lord is working in our lives, and let us follow the great example of Simon's mother-in-law, after we have been helped by God, then turning and beginning to help one another. Happy 5th Sunday of Ordinary Time. God bless.